There's a moment every trader experiences. You've been through the losses. You've survived the blown accounts. You've done the work. And one day, after a string of clean trades, after a week where everything clicked, a quiet thought surfaces. I think I finally understand this. And that thought, that single quiet thought, is the most dangerous moment of your entire trading career. Not the blown account. Not the revenge trade. Not the 3 a.m. margin call. This moment. Right here. The moment you believe you've cracked it. Because what happens next is almost always the same. You size up slightly. You take a setup that's basically your criteria. You hold a little longer than your plan says because you know where it's going. And then the market, completely indifferent to what you think you know, takes it all back. Here's the brutal truth nobody tells you. The ego doesn't show up loudest when you're losing. It shows up loudest when you're winning. And by the time you notice it, it's already made the decision for you. By the end of this video you'll understand exactly how this happens, why the smartest traders fall for it hardest, and the one shift that separates traders who stay profitable from traders who keep starting over. Chapter 1. The Competence Trap. There's a well-known psychological phenomenon called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Most people apply it to beginners, the idea that people who know the least are often the most confident. But there's a second peak on that curve that almost nobody talks about. The point where you've learned enough to be genuinely good. Where your win rate is real, your process is solid, and your results are consistent. Right at that peak, confidence tips over into something else. Something quieter and far more dangerous. Competence becomes identity. You stop being someone who follows a trading plan. You become a trader. And traders in your mind don't need to check every box every time. Traders feel the market. Traders know when something is different. This is where the edge starts leaking. Not dramatically. Quietly. One small deviation at a time. A professional trader described it like this: I didn't blow up because I got worse. I blew up because I got good enough to start trusting myself more than my rules. The market doesn't reward competence. It rewards consistency. And those two things are not the same thing. Chapter 2. What figuring it out actually feels like. Let's be specific about what this moment looks like, because it doesn't arrive wearing a warning sign. It arrives as a feeling of ease. Trades start feeling obvious. Your read on the market feels sharp. Setups that used to take careful analysis now seem to jump out at you. You feel synchronized with price in a way you haven't before. And here's the thing, that feeling is real. You have improved. Your pattern recognition is sharper. Your emotional reactions are calmer. You are better than you were 6 months ago. But your ego takes that real improvement and inflates it into something it isn't. It whispers that ease means mastery. That clarity means certainty. That because the last 10 trades worked, the next one will too, especially if you just trust your gut this time. Neuroscience actually explains exactly why this happens. After a series of wins, your brain releases elevated dopamine, which increases confidence and simultaneously reduces the brain's sensitivity to risk signals. You literally become biologically less capable of perceiving danger right when you're most likely to encounter it. Your brain, in a winning streak, is running on a slightly different operating system than the one that built your strategy. The version of you that created your rules was cautious, analytical, and humble. The version of you trading after 5 green days is none of those things. And you can't feel the difference from the inside. Chapter 3. The 3 ways it destroys you. The ego, once it decides you've figured it out, attacks in 3 specific ways. The first is position size creep. It doesn't happen all at once. You don't suddenly risk 10 times your normal size. You risk 1.5 times. Then twice. Each increment feels justified. After all, if your edge is working, shouldn't you capitalize on it? The math seems logical. The ego makes it feel responsible. But what you're actually doing is quietly removing the floor from under your account. The strategy that survived your normal risk tolerance may not survive 2 or 3 times that exposure. A normal drawdown becomes a devastating one. And when it hits, the fall isn't just financial. It's psychological because you didn't just lose money. You lost the identity you just finished building. The second is criteria drift. This one is subtle enough that most traders never catch it in real time. Your entry criteria don't disappear. They just get slightly more flexible. Setup needs 3 confirmations? 2 feels close enough today. Usually wait for the hourly close? The 45-minute candle looks basically there. Each compromise feels like sophistication. Like you're reading the market rather than rigidly following a checklist. But what you're really doing is dismantling the structure that made your edge an edge in the first place. An edge with flexible criteria isn't an edge. It's a preference. And preferences don't compound. The third is the most insidious, dismissing the stop. Not removing it entirely. Just giving the trade a little more room. Because you know this setup. Because the overall trend is clear. Because it's probably just a liquidity sweep before it continues. Because this time is different. This time is different are the 4 most expensive words in trading. Every single trader who has ever blown a fully funded account, after months of consistent profitability, has thought some version of those 4 words before the trade that ended them. Chapter 4. Why smart traders fall hardest. Here's something that should make every high-achieving, analytically minded trader uncomfortable. The smarter you are, the harder this hits you. Not because intelligence is a flaw, but because intelligent people are exceptionally good at constructing justifications. When the ego wants to take an oversized position, the average trader feels something is off and hesitates. The intelligent trader builds a complete logical framework for why this specific situation warrants an exception. And the framework is convincing because they built it. This is what researchers call motivated reasoning. You don't start with the evidence and reach a conclusion. You start with what you want to do and then you find evidence that supports it. And the more cognitively capable you are, the more convincing the justification becomes. Marcus, a real archetype of traders who go through this, had a PhD in applied mathematics. His models were genuinely brilliant. But every time he deviated from them, he had a mathematically coherent reason why this situation was an exception. His intelligence didn't protect him from his ego. It became the weapon his ego used against him. The market has no interest in your reasoning. It doesn't grade you on the quality of your analysis. It processes price and volume. That's it. And a brilliantly justified bad trade loses money exactly the same way a thoughtless one does. Chapter 5. The antidote isn't humility. It's structure. Most trading psychology content tells you the answer is humility. Stay humble. Remember you don't know everything. Keep your ego in check. That advice is true, but it's not actionable. You can't feel your way into humility in the middle of a winning streak. Your brain won't let you. The biology works against it. What you can do is build structure that doesn't require humility to function. The traders who survive the "I figured it out" moment are not the ones who somehow remain humble despite their results. They're the ones who have systems that make ego-based deviations mechanically difficult. Fixed position sizing that never changes regardless of confidence level. Entry criteria that are written down and checked against a list, not felt. Stop placement that is set at entry and physically cannot be moved. A 2-loss daily limit that ends the session automatically, not when you decide you've had enough. These aren't signs of rigidity. They're the architecture of a sustainable career. They're what allows a temporary feeling of "I figured it out" to pass without costing you everything you've built. One trader put it simply, "I removed every decision I could from the trading session itself. Because I don't trust the version of me that's sitting at that desk in the middle of a hot streak. That version of me is the most dangerous person I know." Chapter 6. The loop that never ends. Here's the part that nobody wants to hear. This doesn't happen once. You don't defeat the ego and move on. The "I figured it out" moment will come back. After every significant improvement in your trading, after every period of consistent results, the same quiet voice will return. "I think I finally understand this." The difference, after everything in this video, is that you'll recognize it. You'll hear it, and instead of letting it make decisions, you'll treat it as a signal. Not a green light. A yellow one. That voice is telling you that you've grown. That your skill is real. That your work is paying off. All of that is true. And none of it means you can start bending the rules. The traders who build lasting careers are not the ones who never hear that voice. They're the ones who hear it and respond the same way every time. With tighter discipline, not looser. With smaller size, not bigger. With more respect for the plan, not less. Because the market will always be bigger than the moment you think you've figured it out. And the traders who accept that deeply and permanently are the ones who are still trading 10 years from now. The most dangerous trade you will ever take is not after a big loss. It's after a long streak of doing everything right. That's when the ego is quietest. That's when it feels like wisdom instead of arrogance. That's when "I know what I'm doing" sounds like confidence instead of the warning it actually is. So here's what I want you to do. Think about the last time everything felt like it was clicking. The last time trading felt almost easy. And ask yourself honestly, did you change anything during that period? Did your size creep up? Did your criteria get slightly more flexible? Did you give a trade more room than your plan allowed? If the answer is yes, you've already met your ego at its most dangerous. And now you know what to do when it shows up again. Drop in the comments the moment you think you've figured it out. What did it cost you? Because when you name it, you take its power away. And if this video hit close to home, send it to a trader who's having a good week. They need it more than they know. I'll see you in the next one.